How frustrating was this season for you from a just role fluctuation standpoint?
Um, Frustrating wouldn't be the word I'd use to describe it. You know, it's a journey, just like any other journey. It's gonna be highs and lows. Gonna be adversity. So, um, just perspective, dealing with everything.
Do you feel like you kind of know what your role is with this team and into the future, or is this something you kind of need to figure out this summer still, like where you fit in on this team?
Um, you know, yeah, figuring out what it is in the future, what it's been. Yeah, that's something that's still um, gotta figure out. Yeah.
How much would you? I mean, not necessarily I'll guarantee a roster spot or anything like that, or a rotation spot, but I mean, how much do you view your fourth season needing to be somewhere where you are playing on a nightly basis?
Just with this being such a competitive and difficult job, you can't really predict the future. You can't be promised too much in this game. So, just giving yourself the best chance would be the best route to go.
Moses, could you talk about what playing with Clay and watching Clay has meant to you or done for you? Thanks.
Yeah, it's been Clay, somebody I've been watching since I was a kid, since I was young. So then to be able to grow up watching him and then be in the locker room with him, chilling on the boat with him, he's a really, really solid dude. And you can learn a lot from somebody like that.
Moses, what obviously last night was disappointing in a team context. How much do you feel like? I mean, you seemed very ready for the moment. It was a big game, and as you've shown before, you were ready for it. But how much did you how important is it that was sort of the parting image, and that you sort of reminded the team, the fans, whatever, that you're ready to sort of contribute at that level?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of been the storyline all year. Not knowing how much playing time I'm gonna get. Like I wasn't in the rotation going into the game. I get called on and perform. So I mean it's just more of the same. Kind of glad to be able to do it on that stage at that time. Um, but yeah, it's just been part of the journey so far.
In your conversations with the coaches today and in general, what was kind of the message that they had for you in terms of what you need to improve this summer and what you need to improve to get that, consistent role?
Becoming like getting the shot off faster or something that was said. Really a lot of it is situational, I feel like. So just being able to get that consistent time, having a defined role and knowing what that is and understanding that will, I think, be the biggest part.
How good do you feel about your game overall, though,
Yeah.
exiting year three?
Yeah, I feel really good about it. If I get to listening to other people, then you can kind of feel like it's a cycle to where like, oh, you don't play, you play good, you don't play, and but that's kind of that can be frustrating if you looking at it like that. But that's through other people's lens. I've done something myself to where I don't really look at things through other people's perspective and understand it for myself and see the growth that I've made each year. I've spent a lot of time in the G League my first year, not a lot of time on the court. Stretches of not playing well. The next year, I went to the G twice. Had some really good stretches early on and later on. Although, like in the middle, I kind of let the situation stifle me to a point to where I wasn't as confident in what I had going on. But it was still. I was able to figure out and get through it. So that was a good year. But then this year, I feel like I was solid all the way through. The situation was what it was at times with things I can't control. But whenever I got the opportunity to play, I feel like I played well. I figured some things out throughout the season that made me better and more consistent later on. But mentally, I feel like this is the best that I've been so far, and physically on the court. I've scored more percentages or whatever. Been solid. So, just realizing that for myself and realizing that has been progress, and not listening to everybody else and thinking that I'm running on the treadmill.
How would you describe your experience with Chris Paul, maybe compared to your preseason expectations of being teammates with him?
Yeah, Chris is another guy that I've been watching longer than I've been watching Clay. Playing on the video game with him, and you always hear so many good things about Chris Paul and the person that he is and the teammate that he is from other people, but it's different when you get the opportunity to experience it for yourself. When it comes to teaching you the game, talking about the game, he always want to talk about basketball, but not even just that. He was on the boat too, just kicking it, talking about whatever. The stuff he's got going on with his own foundation and his business ventures. He's got so much things going on that I could learn from, and he's never slow to reach out and teach. So, he had the thing where he was talking about me, being able to deal with adversity or whatever it was, but I think that's just a case of real recognize real. I feel like not all celebrities, not all Hall of Famers could deal with having a lesser role. I feel like if Chris Paul was in my situation, he would be able to deal with it too, and that's not something you could say about every Hall of Famer. Just the mental that he has, he has to take a lesser role this year for this team too. That's had to be challenging on. It had to be tough on him. But the person that he was every day, walking into work, was professional. He was able to make the best out of it. So I got a lot of respect for Chris.
What was going on the boat? Like, what was happening?
It was really just going to work. We had a game that day, so we went over to Oakland. Got on the boat with Clay. He showed us how to drive it, but we were really just chilling, embracing the open sea.
Are you a boat guy?
I am now.
Just big picture, how do you want to remember this season?
The biggest thing that I take from this season is the team. Like, this was a special team, through and through, from Corey Joe to Jerome, Loon, Steph, Kate. Like, everybody had so many different situations going on. It was just the atmosphere that we had every day in practice, on the bus, at dinners. Like, it was just a really good group of young men together, striving for a goal, having adversity, if you had a great group of people and y'all were just sitting in a room every day, then you don't really get to experience how good of people that you're dealing with. But when you're going through adversity and things get hard, times get hard, y'all get tired of each other, and the way that people combat adversity, you can watch and take things from other people. Like, we went through a whole journey together and with solid dudes. So that's what I'll take from this year. That's why, it didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but it even felt like this could have been a special year just because of that.
How do you kind of just view this season for yourself personally?
For myself, a lot of growth. It feels good at the end of the day to get through a full season. In my career, I've been banged up a bit. And so just staying on top of that and learning a lot from some of the greatest people to be around and grow.
If I have this right, you're no longer two-way eligible
Correct.
Next season. How do you view your future potentially here, but also just league-wide?
Yeah, I think I know that I'm an NBA player, and so at the end of the day, I kind of got to leave with that first, and just kind of stay ready for anything. I think I am in a great spot here to help them build and keep that chemistry going, but whatever happens, and kind of go from there.
What are some things that you picked up just from being around players like Steph and Clay and CP and Draymond?
Yeah, I would say their passion, right? I don't think you can be as good as you are or as good as them without being passionate and having the love of the game that they do. You could see the genuine joy when they walk into the building, when they see each other, when they play with each other. It's it's a blast. Like just being in the room with those guys and having the conversation, and just to see what they think on a day to day, and apply it to your life, because I have so much left in my career.
And what does your off season look like, just in terms of what you want to work on, what you want to improve on?
I think just going into the off season, it's getting better at everything. I think I'm no Stephen Curry or Klay Thompson, so it's how can I reach that level, So I think also being around them, allows you to kind of re-spark that drive of like greatness, right? You see them in front of you, they're a human being like you're a human being, and so it allows you to be hungry going into the off season.
Jerome back here. What do you think of the two rookies, BP and Trace, and the impact they made? And it's been a while since rookies sort of had an impact right away the way they have.
Yeah.
You've been around the league a while. What do you think about their games and their futures?
Oh, great. They were great rookies, man. Their energy. It's funny that they're both lefties because they act like lefties. And so just having that, that chemistry with those young guys and seeing them, take those strides as the season goes along. Seeing BP, how he responded, seeing how Trace, responded. I thought they were great, man, and I think they're going to have a bright future.
Can you share any examples of them being lefties or acting like lefties?
Do you know a lefty?
I do.
Are you a lefty?
I'm not.
All right.
My sister is, though.
Let me see. Oh, they both got a little bit of a hard head, but in a good way. It's it's just genuine. I have my brother closest to me is a lefty, so I can see little brother in them all the time, and it doesn't drive me crazy, but it makes me love them more. Put it that way.
And one last follow-up. Brandon, in particular, came in with a unique confidence for a rookie. How did that? It sounds like he made it work. Steve's talked about how his teammates, older teammates such as yourself, respected him, but he was still able to sort of be brash the way he is and fit in. Why was he able to make that work? Because that's not normal, I would think.
Yeah, I would just say just being him, honestly, because it wasn't like him being him wasn't like a bad person. You know what I mean? You see the good in Brandon. You see his joy and how much of a kid he is, right? And that shows you at the end of the day, basketball is a child's game. We started playing this at 4 or 5 years old, right? So if you have that genuine joy, right, and honesty as he is, it's contagious, one, but it also fuels the team. So Brandon was great as far as his him being him.